Thank you so much. So, good evening, everyone. I'm Bianca Balsimelli Ghelli, and I'm a research fellow at the University of Modena and Reggio Emilia. Today, I'm going to present a paper with Professor Giovanni Gallo titled The Impact of Citizenship on Intermarriage, Evidence from Italy. For me, it's a pleasure to be here, so if you have any suggestions or comments, are very, very welcome. So we know that in the recent decades, migration flow and the share of foreign-born populations have increased significantly, not only in traditional immigration countries, but also across other developing economies. And as a result, many European countries today host a substantial population of foreign origin. And this is a trend that is expected to persist over time. And Italy is not an exception. Historically a country of immigration, it has experienced a profound transformation in recent decades, becoming one of the main destinations for immigrants from various parts of the world. And this shift has not only changed the demographic composition of the population, but has also had important implications for the labor market and for social policies. In fact, the growing presence of immigrants has created extensive debate in Italy, both in academic and political circles. Because on one hand, immigration has been associated with economic growth and demographic renewal. But on the other hand, it raises concern about its potential effect on native workers' employment and wages, as well as on the sustainability of the welfare system. Moreover, more important, immigrant integration remain key issues for both policymakers and scholars. So without an effective economic, political and social integration, immigrants risk marginalization. And for the host countries, the lack of integration can lead to serious challenges, including increased public spending, social isolation, and tensions with the local population, especially when immigrants are perceived as a threat to employment, housing, or cultural traditions. So integration in all its dimensions, we can say that depends not only on immigrants' choices and preferences, but also on the opportunity provided by the host countries to support and promote this process. And these opportunities are shaped by the public policies. And in this framework, access to citizenship plays a fundamental role. We know that citizenship represents the most important privilege host countries can grant its immigrant population. And acquiring citizenship not only supports immigrants' integration by encouraging them to invest in their future in the host countries, but also helps reshape their social reference points and reduce discrimination from native citizens. So for this reason, this study focuses on the Italian case, particularly on the municipality of Modena, as interesting context, and try to provide causal evidence on the relationship between integration and mixed marriages by analyzing an exogenous change in immigrants' legal status, so the citizenship acquisition. And in addition, this study tried to contribute to the literature on the effects of citizenship of fertility, try to expanding the understanding of cultural simulation mechanism. We know that in the literature, citizenship acquisition is widely recognized as a key factor in reducing the social distance between immigrants and natives. So citizenship generates a positive aspect not only from an economic perspective, but also from social cultural aspect. But the formation of mixed marriages remain a relative unexplored topic, particularly in the Italian context. From a theoretical perspective, two main hypotheses try to explain the relationship between citizenship status and the propensity to enter in a mixed marriage. The first one is the assimilation hypothesis, according to which the more immigrants are integrated into the host countries, the more likely they are to marry native citizens. The second one is the status exchange hypothesis, which suggests that in contexts characterized by low levels of integration, marriage may represent a strategy for immigrants to improve their prospect of inclusion. And as I said before, in addition to examining the link between citizenship and couple formation, this study analyzed also the fertility behavior of couples. Why? Given that the fertility rate among Italian couples have been steadily declining, while foreign-born population individuals generally display higher fertility rate, often linked to cultural factors, we want to ask whether obtaining citizenship is associated with a reduction in fertility among naturalized immigrants. And the existing literature was mainly focused on the relationship between migration background and fertility rate, highlighting how, upon arrival in the host countries, both the country of origin and the type of the residence permit influence the decision to have children. Before showing you the data and the empirical framework, I would like to spend a couple of minutes to introduce the case study and explain why the analysis focuses only on the municipality of Modena and not on the entire country. So first of all, it's important to clarify that the Italian citizenship law is primarily governed by under Law 91 of 1992, which is an informally applied across Italy. And Article 9 of this law governs the acquisition of citizenship by concession. So the key requirement is a continuous and current period of legal residence, at least 10 years for non-European citizens and 4 years for European citizens. And obviously, only residents with valid permit is considered. In addition, in Italy, the distribution of the foreign population is not homogeneous. Foreign residents are more concentrated in the north part of Italy, which is characterized by stronger economic performance. And this is an important pull factor for migrants seeking employment opportunities. And in particular, as we can see in this figure, Emilia-Romagna is the region with the highest share of foreign residents relative to the total population. And within Emilia-Romagna, the province of Modena ranks among those with the highest proportion of foreign residents, making it an ideal setting for analyzing integration partners and citizenship acquisition. In addition, the choice to focus on a single municipality rather than on the national level is also motivated by methodological considerations. So studying the municipality of Modena allows for more targeted approach, leveraging the availability of rich administrative data at the individual level. And this enables us to account for specific local factors that are often overlooked in the national level studies. So Modena represents an emblematic case of the social demographic transformations affecting the central and the north Italy, and both in terms of the composition of the foreign population, but also on the evolution of integration process. So, and for all these reasons, this study focused only on the municipality of Modena. So to analyze the causal effect of citizenship acquisition on the formation of mixed couples and then on the fertility behavior, we use administrative data from the population registers of the municipality of Modena from 2001 to 2022. This data allows us to track each individual from the moment they become a resident in Modena through reallocation or by birth until they move to another municipality or pass away. And the data set includes several individual characteristics like gender, year of birth, or electoral section, so a territorial unit smaller than a neighbor. But the most relevant variables for our analysis are citizenship and marital status. So regarding citizenship, the data indicate whether an individual is Italian or foreign. And for foreign citizens, the data set also includes their country of origin and any eventual acquisition of Italian citizenship during the time in Modena. And for marital status, the dataset records whether a person is single, married, divorced, or widowed, and marriage event is identified when a change in marital status is observed from 1 year to the next. And through the citizenship of each spouse, we can classify the marriage into three categories. The first one is Italian, if both spouse holds Italian citizenship. The second one is foreign, if both spouses are foreign citizens, and the last one is mixed if the spouses have different citizenship. So one is Italian, the other one is foreign. After reconstructing the type of couples, we exclude all Italian individuals. And since marriage represents a sort of censored event, individuals exit the sample once they get married. As I said before, the dataset covered the period 2001-2022, but this analysis focuses only on the period 2012-2022. And these methodological choices account for the 10-year legal requirement for taking Italian citizenship. So we reduce the potential endogeneity biases. And we restrict the analysis to individuals aged between 25 54 years, and the lower age threshold exclude individuals likely to still be in education, reducing potential heterogeneity in the sample.
Sorry, Bianca.
And these are some.
Sorry, you might have said this before, but I might have missed it. Who is a foreigner? So if there are two people born outside Italy and move to Italy and they have a child, and if the parents are not Italian citizens, is the child a foreigner or a so what's the definition of a foreigner?
No, it's not Italian, the child. In Italy, no, not.
Okay. And then
The child can acquire the Italian citizenship then 18 years.
So the foreigner is anybody who is not, at least one parent is not, I mean, both parents are foreigners.
Yeah.
Okay, so if one parent is Italian, then are they Italian?
In this case, also the child is Italian. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, thanks.
Okay. So now I will present the empirical framework and the results for our first research questions, in which we study how the acquisition of citizenship influences both the probability of getting married and the type of marriage. Next, I will present the empirical framework and the results for the second part of our study, where we analyze the effect of citizenship acquisition on fertility decision. So we start by analyzing whether obtaining citizenship causes an increase in the probability of getting married. And to conduct this analysis, we estimate a probability model, like this in the first question, where E identified the individual unit, T identified the time unit, so the year, and epsilon IT represent our outcome variable, so the probability of marriage, and it's a binary indicator equal to 1 if the individual is married, and 0 if the individual is not married. Sorry. The k-independent variable is the citizenship, which is a binary indicator. We know that citizenship may be correlated with both observable and unobservable factors that simultaneously influence the propensity for intermarriage. Just to report an example, compared to immigrants without citizenship, immigrants who possess the host country's citizenship are likely to have spent more years in the host countries, acquire better language proficiency, and develop broader social networks. So to address these issues of endogeneity, the independent variable citizenship take the value of 1 if an individual has acquired Italian citizenship, regardless of the years of residence in the municipality of Modena. Because to obtain citizenship, individuals must meet certain requirements, including 10 years of continual residence in Italy, which may not necessarily all be within the municipality of Modena. Conversely, citizenship takes the value of 0 if the individual has been a resident of Modena for at least 10 years, but has not acquired Italian citizenship. So we don't consider all individuals who have not obtained Italian citizenship and have raised in Modena for less than 10 years. In addition, we...
There was a raised hand. Sorry, Daniela, you're okay? You don't...
I think that it will be more constructive if I will wait and ask, because when you start with your question, given that I had also a question related to that. I wanted to make more clear some details about econometric model, but I think that I will wait. Thank you very much, because I think that she has arguments and later on is more constructive, I think. Thank you.
Yeah, sorry. So I can repeat this part. Okay?
You don't need to repeat anything for me. Please move on, and later when it's time for questions, I will formulate my question, okay?
Okay. Thank you.
you.
Sorry.
Thank you.
Okay, can I ask a very clarifying question, just a very micro question? Because I live in the US and I'm originally from India, so I had to go through the naturalization to get the citizenship. So I had to study about whatever, take the citizenship test and all that. So in Italy, what happens? Do they test on the language proficiency, or do they test for what? How do once somebody is there for 10 years, how can they become citizens? Is there any test they have to take, or is it?
No, there is no test. After an immigrant live for 10 years in Italy, can start to the procedure to take Italian citizenship. There is no test. There is nothing. It's completely different from the USA, from America.
Okay, good. Thank you.
We don't have tests or exam, nothing. An immigrant that want to take the Italian citizenship, probably the only another requirement is, for example, that must be a work.
Okay.
Yeah, but nothing about the test or exam.
Okay, good. Thank you.
There is only the course for Italian language, but is not a test. The end of.
And do you do you distinguish between EU migrants and non-EU migrants? Because one of the main papers in this literature is actually based on Italy and the EU expansion, which I was surprised you didn't mention, because it's literally using Italy as the natural experiment. But they make their case on the EU expansion, how they're less likely to intermarry with Italians.
No. We not.
Because, like, if I'm a EU citizen, I don't need Italian citizenship anymore.
Yeah, that's a good point.
So I'll put the paper in the chat, because you mentioned there's not a lot of literature, but this one is established, and the other big one on the causal relationships has just been published in the Journal of Political Economy this year, but it's been out as a working paper for a long time. And Cynthia and I have some work also that looks at the causal relationships between citizenship and marriage. So there is a decently developed literature already that you didn't have in there. So I just wondered, because the EU thing seems to be very critical here.
Okay. Thank you for this as observation. Sorry, I can.
Okay.
I can check this.
I will try to formulate now my question because of this EU question, because I want to know more about the definition of marriage, because I live in Sweden and most people are not married. And by the way, I'm not a robot, and I don't have problem to show myself. Okay, I'm thinking like this. I live in Sweden, and in Sweden, most people are not married. They are living in a tax status, what is calling cohabitating, official cohabitating. And this means, into that perspective and taking the EU dimension in, maybe it's important to tell us a little bit more what you need. Now I'm talking about the model, what means marriage in the empirical model, okay? Not theoretically, but also theoretically, what means marriage as an outcome variable.
Yeah.
Thank you.
For marriage, we don't consider only the people that living in the same house, because in this case in our data set are single. We see only single. So
yeah, but getting married means that officially you have to have a certificate of marriage.
yeah.
Okay, that was the
Yeah.
only question. And now, because you elaborate a little bit with that 18, you said that people, when they're 18, they decide about their citizenship. Because also for me, and in the European dimension, I would like to learn a little bit more about that being born in a EU country and taking the citizenship of the country. And maybe later on, you might answer to that as well.
Yeah.
Because it was the question from my perspective, when I do this kind of analysis, I'm looking at country of birth, and that is the reason I like your innovation, to look at citizenship and to see how the econometric problems of the endogeneity are solved when you use citizenship for the definition instead of country of birth, as I'm doing. Thank you.
Probably I answer this question later when I explain you the results and the heterogeneity.
Yes, thank you. It's okay. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. So, okay. This model we control also for some individual characteristics, time variant and time invariant, and we account also for spatial fixed effect. And so the goal of this first analysis is the estimate of the coefficient beta 1, which captures the effect of citizenship acquisition on the likelihood of marriage. Then we study how citizenship acquisition influences the type of marriage. And in this case, our empirical analysis relies on the estimation of the multinomial logistic model, like this in the second equation. Here, all independent variables maintain the same meaning as before, but our outcome variable, it's a categorical variable with 3 categories. 0 if the individual is not married, 1 if the individual marries and the marriage is between foreign individuals, 2 if the individual marries and the marriage is between individuals with different citizenship. So these capture the mixed marriage. And again, the goal of this second analysis is the estimate of the coefficient beta 1, which captures the effect of citizenship acquisition on the type of marriage. And now let's move to the result.
May I ask a short question before going to the results? Because I want to understand a little bit more to see the model and this, because usually the mechanism is that people are getting citizenship because they get married. And you didn't tell us a little bit about this. And from that perspective, because you're moving to the results, and that is my question to you before moving to results. What about the double, getting married to get the citizenship? That is my question.
Yeah. We perform some robustness check to exclude this mechanism.
Okay, move on. You try to answer. I don't take time. It was only one question. Thank you.
Thank you. So we start with the baseline results, and we start from the marginal effects from a probability model, and the results show that acquiring Italian citizenship increases the probability of marriage for those who obtain it. And the marginal effects from the multinomial logistic regressions highlight how the acquisition of Italian citizenship influences the type of marriage, showing that foreigners who taking Italian citizenship have a lower probability of not marrying and a higher probability of marrying an Italian citizen, so entering into the mixed marriage. And for now, these findings appear to support the assimilation theory rather than the status exchange theory. So the acquisition of citizenship seems to facilitate the integration in this sense. But we know that, first of all, the decision to marry a native citizenship may be influenced by several individual characteristics. One important factor is gender. For example, previous studies suggest that foreign women may view marriage as a way to improve their socioeconomic situation. Age also play an important role. For women, being younger can be seen as a sign of attractiveness and fertility, but for men, being older may signal financial stability and a secure social position. And finally, cultural background also it's important key factor. So to take all of these into account, we divided the sample by gender, age, and continent of birth. In particular, age is grouped into two categories, and for the continent of birth, we distinguish between Europe, Africa, and Asia and America together. And the marginal effect results from probit model show that acquiring Italian citizenship increased the likelihood of marriage for men, for the adult individuals, and from individuals born in Africa. Regarding the type of marriage, this finding suggests that acquiring Italian citizenship has a positive effect on the probability of mixed marriage for both men and women, for adults, and for individual was born in Africa. However, the results may be different substantially when we consider the continent of origin in a mixed marriage. So while citizenship acquisition increased the likelihood of marriage for individuals from Africa, its effect on the mixed marriage is more pronounced for those born in Europe, and this finding reflects cultural or socioeconomic differences across regions of origin, which may have implication for integration process. Okay, so now I would like to show you two important robustness checks which we perform. So the results obtaining so far seem to support the predominance of the assimilation theory. Okay, because the results show that acquiring Italian citizenship lead to increase the formation of mixed couples. But to future strengthen this theory, we replicate the previous estimate, but at this time we focus on the acquisition of citizenship in the previous year. And these are the marginal effects result from probit model. And we can see that acquiring Italian citizenship in the year per year doesn't have significant effect on the overall probability of getting married. However, the marginal effects from the multinomial logistic regression show that obtaining citizenship in the previous year significantly increases the likelihood of forming a mixed couple. And these results is consistent with the assimilation hypothesis. Then, to strengthen again the robustness of our conclusions, we conducted an alternative analysis using two-way fixed effects model. And for this analysis, we focused on a balanced panel of individuals aged between 25 to 45, living in the municipality of Modena from 2011 to 2022. And again, E refers to individuals and T to time, so year. The independent variables are defined as in the previous model with the addition of the year fixed effects. And as outcome variables, we considered three binary indicators. The first one is married, equal to 1 if the individual is married and 0 otherwise. The second one is foreign married, equals to 1 if the individual is married to another foreigner and 0 if unmarried. And the last one is mixed married, equals to 1 if the individual is married to an Italian, so indicating the formation of mixed couple, and again 0 if not married. And this approach allows us to control for an observed time invariant individual characteristics, as well as time varying factors that are common to all individuals. And by including both individual and here fixed effects, we answer that the estimate impact of citizenship is not biased by these potential confounding influences. And the results show that, again, taking the Italian citizenship increases both the likelihood of getting married and the likelihood of marrying an Italian citizen. In contrast, we can see that taking Italian citizenship decreases the probability of marrying for another foreign. Yeah, now I can finally, as I say, when I start this presentation, in this paper, we study also the time elapsed between the formation of couple and the birth of the first child. And to investigate this relationship, we estimate again another multinomial logistic model, like this in the first in the four equation, where we identify the individual unit, also in this case the time unit, so the year. Here, our outcome variable measures the time between the couple's formation, defined as the year of marriage, and the birth of the first child. It's a categorical variable that takes the value of 0 if the couple has not had children, 1 if they had children before marriage, 2 if they had children within the first 5 years of marriage, and finally 3 if they had children more than 5 years after marriage. The main dependent variable is the interaction between citizenship and marriage, and this interaction can take 4 values. 0 if both partners are foreign and neither has obtained citizenship. 1 if both partners are foreign and one of them has acquired citizenship. 2 if the couple is mixed and the foreign partner has not acquired citizenship. And 3 if the couple is mixed and the foreign partner has obtained Italian citizenship. So again, the goal of this analysis is the estimate of the coefficient beta 1, which captured the joint effect of citizenship acquisition and marriage type on the timing of the first child's birth. And these are the results on the time elapsed between the formation of a couple and the birth of the first child. What we can see, compared to foreign couples in which neither partners has acquired Italian citizenship, both mixed couples where the foreign partner obtained citizenship and foreign couples in which at least one partner becomes Italian citizens show a lower likelihood of having children, particularly before and within the first years of marriage. So this result is perfectly in line with fertility behavior between Italian couples, because the results suggest that acquiring Italian citizenship is associated with a postponement of family formation rather than an increase in the childbearing. And just to conclude all these results, several theoretical and empirical studies explain the growing of mixed marriages through 2 main mechanisms. The first one is the assimilation of immigrants into the host society, and the second one is the status exchange. And our study argues that the link between citizenship and the formation of mixed marriage is better explained by the assimilation theory rather than status exchange. In addition, we study another important aspect related to citizenship, so its effect in combination with the type of the marriage in the timing of the birth of the first child. And in particular, we analyze the time elapsed between the formation of the couple and the birth of the first child. And the results indicate that compared to couples composed of 2 foreign individual without Italian citizenship, the mixed couples in which the foreign partner acquired citizenship and foreign couples in which at least one part became naturalized show a lower probability of having children before marriage or in the early year afterward. And this effect is also observed in mixed couples where the foreign partners not acquire citizenship, suggesting that simply being in a relationship with an Italian citizen reflects a broader integration process that influences the reproductive choices. So just to conclude, by using detailed administrative data at the individual level, this study tried to demonstrate that taking Italian citizenship is a fundamental vehicle for social integration. And that's all. Thank you so much for your attention.
Okay, thank you, Bianca. Questions?
Can I
have one.
interrupt?
Sorry?
Can I interrupt the screen? I can see you.
Yes. Okay.
I'm seeing myself there, so yeah, okay.
So I have a question to ask, if I may. So I really like the storyline, but even though marriage is going to be an important social driver, like what you said, could it be for economic reasons? Because the reason is, when I first came to India from India, I was mostly a permanent resident for a long time. So believe it or not. And then what happened is I got into the immigration kind of a research and all that. And all of a sudden I realized that had something happened to me as a permanent resident, the survivor benefits for my family, like my wife and kids, is much lower compared to if I was a citizen, if something happened to me. So that was the point where I had to kind of thinking about. So I literally had to give up my Indian citizenship to become a US citizen. And the most heartbreaking thing that happened to me is when I had to go visit my parents, had to get a visa to go to India. It just bothered the hell out of me. I was born and raised there, but still had to. But anyway, that's besides the story. So what I'm saying is, maybe one of the things happening behind the scenes is something on the economic aspect. In other words, how are the citizen survivor benefits or whatever, even if they get married or don't get married? Is it the same for? And I think that some maybe a little bit omitted.
Obviously, that's an important point, and for sure influence the decision. That's true. But unfortunately, our data don't include any information about the economic aspects. So that's the reason.
Yes, Bianca, if I may add something.
Yeah, obviously.
Bani, thanks a lot for this comment. I absolutely agree with you. The point is that we had the opportunity to use this very nice data, administrative data from the population register, but in Italy, the population register just collects information on the demographic, let's say, sphere of the individual. So we miss something really on the economic condition of the household. The only thing we have, and it is included in the model, it's something related to where this household live. In terms of the micro area, the micro area of the municipality. So has the cadastral values and your wealth is really connected to the place where you live within the city of Modena, but of any city worldwide, I suppose. We included this information as a spatial, the spatial fixed effect that Bianca mentioned in the paper. So this is the only, let's say, economic variable we have.
But I'm sorry, but the literature, and I've used this in my work when I've looked at marriage and citizenship, you can at least include country level data. Like I've used, for example, dual citizenship. Like you know which countries allow dual citizenship with Italy. Like there is no reason, and that would address Fanny's question, right? Like I know for India, right, what the rules are between the US and India, whether you can do that, and that can be at the country level, that should be included.
Yeah.
This is a very, very important suggestion.
Yeah.
We will do that. Thanks. Thanks a lot.
Thanks.
Any other?
I also wanted to check if you have, like, are you exploring the timing of the events? I'm still not kind of sold on the exogeneity. It still seems a little murky to me how it was explained or what's taken advantage of the timing of the events. Can you help us understand? Are you taking advantage of when the citizenship was acquired, when the marriage happened?
Yeah. We observe all individuals from the moment they became a resident in Modena, okay, until they change municipality or pass away. In this time, we can observe the moment in which the individual get married and the moment, the exactly year in which the individual take the Italian citizenship. So we observe this.
So in your sample, you are not including in the analysis people who became married before
Yeah, exactly.
getting citizenship?
Exactly.
Yes, the marriage is always after the citizenship acquisition. Yes.
Yeah, but I still think that I can still see the link going both ways, right? That if I'm dating somebody and I know we eventually want to get married, I might as well invest in becoming a citizen and stay. Like that is the reason I'm staying. That is the reason I am going to get citizenship if I'm dating this person. So I'm not sure I'm buying the exogeneity on that stuff. That's why when you mentioned it, I thought this was going to be about the EU expansion because that's the literature I'm familiar with. And there you can definitely buy that, right? That's an exogenous shock to access to citizenship and rights in Italy. But here I think you have to explain that in a little bit more clearly.
Okay. Thank you.
Daniela?
Okay, I think that I'm the only. Okay, let me summarize a little bit because I do a similar analysis, I told you like you do, but in different terms, and I use country of birth. For initial setting of the data and initial condition, I understand that you don't control for initial condition, it's okay. But my first question, are all people in your sample at the first point in time single? Yes or no?
No. Yeah.
Yes or no?
The first time, yes.
First year, all of them are single. And now, for me, it's like this. If all of them are single and it's in the same area, it's a probability that they might get married. And that is my question, how you handle these people who get married? Because if they are singles and they get married, they switch places. And these couples might be twice coming in the analysis. And then for me, it was not clear if you are using, because you are using probit in the fixed effect model, and you look at marginal effect with the probit model. But for me, it was not clear if you're using multinomial logit. And also, if you are using multinomial logit, then how about IIA? The independence of irrelevant assumption, alternative assumption. Did you check for that in the case that you are using MNL, multinomial logit? And I have a lot of other technical questions, what I will not take it in. But before coming to the endogeneity questions, which have already pointed, which are really important, and that is difficult to publish, I think, in this kind of analysis, showing that the exogeneity assumption is fulfilled, and also the identification of a given mechanism. Thank you.
Thank you for all these comments or suggestions. Probably we can check all of these several stuff then with Giovanni. But just to for your second question about the multinomial logistic, the reason is for our dependent variable, just because it's a categorical variable. For this reason, we decide to use the multinomial logistic to try to better explain our results.
Alice?
Okay, if you do that, at least try to do independence of irrelevant alternative assumption check. But you need, because that it is nice, and that is the reason McFadden introduced that, it is about marginal utility. And if you take this story, because when people ask you about economic, I don't think that they ask you about the money. It is the mechanism, the motivation, why different decisions are taking. And here, as I already told you, I would like to learn a little bit more about this institution, like people already pointed out a few of them, including that when I'm 18 and if I'm born in Italy by foreign-born parents, if I will decide to be Italian because I was born, that was not clear for me. And that is very clear with Scandinavian data. And that is the reason I'm asking this question, mostly to help me to make stronger my model. Thank you.
Thank you.
Giovanni, please, you try to answer and I interrupt you. Sorry.
Now, Mihalis, you had a question?
Yeah, okay. I have some questions and some remarks. Perhaps I start with a remark following up the question about logic. It's much better to use in this context generalized ordered logit, which is basically a combination of simple logits rather than multinomial logits for the reason already mentioned here.
Okay.
Another point is that I think the only chance to make a publishable result of it is just to repeat after dropping everybody who is an EU citizen. Because this now you have two completely different stories mixed up. Yeah. So this EU citizens should be excluded. Now my question is, how big is a sample attrition? So what is the percentage of your sample, of your initial sample, who moved out from Modena during this period? And what is the percentage which moved in, if you have that?
Giovanni, probably you remember well the number, because in this moment
Yes, I don't know actually the exact shares to reply to the question, but let me say they are not so high. Not so high to be concerning, but we will check.
Yeah, because this is also has to do with indigeneity to some extent.
Okay. Okay. No, we
And
will check.
finally,
Thanks.
yeah, about this is perhaps a high request, but about the economic variables. Of course, it's more or less natural that population register doesn't have it, but in many countries, it's possible to make a request to the Statistical Bureau, which matches for you data from a population register with data for employment register or whatever it's called in Italy. So did you try it?
So thanks for this observation. We know that the municipalities can ask to the National Institute of Statistics information on the census, which collects information on the economic conditions. So, for example, your education level or being employed or not. But this kind of request, let's say, should be claimed by an office of the municipality. We don't have this kind of agreement with the municipality of Modena at this moment. We will, but this is a channel we will try to explore in the next steps, let's say. Thanks.
Thank you.
And since you, yeah, I will jump in. Sorry. If since you have the administrative data, I was surprised you're not taking advantage more of the timing of the events and using hazard models. I would struggle with kind of ordered probit or logit because I don't think you want to assign you know a structured of what is a higher category or lower category. There's no kind of, to me, if one is, you know, a citizen and one is not, like I would struggle with the ordered estimations. But I think especially when you looked at children, like you could be looking at the timing instead of using the categorical. I struggled with that. Like you have it, why not use hazard models that will allow you to, right? There's censored events, you can handle the zeros. I think that would be a much more kind of clear way to look at those. And I would do the same with the timing of the marriage and citizenship, to be honest. I've done that in the past as well.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Any other questions, thoughts, comments? Okay, I think with that, thank you very much.